Hi, my name is Sevak Singh and my student ID is Sevak Singh 20173409. Today I am representing the analyzation of policies. As due to COVID-19, the situation of Australia is getting worse. So RBA took some steps to reduce the rate of unemployment and inflation and also get better the output level. Um, in the I go to next slide. Unemployment job keeper payment scheme. In this slide, as because of the COVID-19, there are many people who lost their jobs due to which the rate of unemployment interested a lot. So, in order to reduce the rate of unemployment, there were many steps took by the government of Australia and the Reserve Bank of Australia, which eventually worked and the unemployment rate decreased as the government and RBA introduced many new schemes to reduce the unemployment rate. However, finally, inflation consumer price movements. In order to respond towards the situation of COVID-19, RBA and Australian government took many steps to reduce inflation. In this policy, government announced the free education for the students. Secondly, the Australian government not only free the education but also frees the price of other administration services. Moreover, they reduced the impact of COVID-19. Australian government introduced the policy of consumer price movement. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Aman Kumar Bishnoi. My student ID is 20173464 and my topic is about output level, monetary policy and government bond purchase program. And in this slide we are talking about steps taken by the RBA. In order to improve market conditions, RBA reduced the cash rate twice. In March 2020, the RBA take the cash rate to 0.25% and on 3rd November 2020, the cash rate was 0.1. These steps worked as a lot as the steps improved the market conditions of Australia. It is so because by the steps of RBI, the whole household sector and business cash flow boosted as the now market is able to start trading again. And in 2022, RBI start the process of normalize the monetary. So these steps are very important and improve the market conditions of Australia. In this slide we are talking about steps taken by the government. As to improve the market condition of Australia, the government took many steps, like government starting the program of government bond purchase program. Under this program, the Australian government released the bond not only to the Australian government, but other states of Australia and territories, and the bond was released in secondary market. The issued bond was purchased by Reserve Bank of Australia on November 3, 2020. The total bond issued by the government was $100 million. On 2nd February 2021, the RBA announced that the bank is going to buy the additional bond of $100 billion issued by the Government of Australia. Furthermore, this slide is about other information and other steps. Not only these steps in order to start marketing activities against other program or steps by the Government of Australia and RBI are also taken by RBI provides the funding facilities on the terms of banks. In order to support lending business in these, RBI reduced the funding cost. On 19 March 2020, the board of RBI announced to target the Australian government bond for 3 years. The bank to buy these bonds at 0.25%. These steps are taken to increase cash activity in market. So at that time, the COVID financial market Australia was not able to stand back in this case. Thank you.
Hello guys, my name is Vishnu Dutt and my student ID is 20173359 and today my topic is case the government of Australia introduced the job keeper payment regarding different kind of payment in the way of current equilibrium level. In the order to calculate the current equilibrium level of the income under the economy, the equation of the degree demands to be seen higher and the lower as well as there is a different kind of formula apply. So AD is equal to C plus I plus G plus NX. So C is equal to 800 plus 0.8 YD. As well as we just move to the second slide. This is the calculation of a output gap. However, so the output gap in this case is output gap is equal to YFE minus Y. Output gap is equal to 15,000 minus 15,750. Output gap remaining is 750. This is the formula which we applied in the gap. And the last slide is the group the output gap through the changes government spending. As we show, we have a different kind of axes like x-axis, y-axis. Y-axis shows the AE and the 1500, and the y-axis shows the 1500, 15,000 as well, in the gap between the 15,000 and 750. As it is the real GDP gap, which is the shows the potential GDP of the line axis. Thank you.
My name is Gurbaz and my student ID 20173540. Slide number 11. Close the output gap through changing in the tax rate. Now, in this case, if the government want to shift down the output gap by changing the tax rate, so in that case, taxes T0 needs to decreased by $75 million. As the situations lead to an increase in the consumption which eventually shifts the cover of AD to the right and the employment level reaches full unemployment. It is so because taxes affect the consumer negatively. So this negative impact case a fall in the real income is increased. My name is Gurbaz and my student ID 20173540. Slide number 12. Case 3. Open market impact on the open market. If in the market the availability of cash is increased, then that case of government securities are sold by the RBA so that the availability of cash is decreased. It is so because when securities are purchased, the cash decreases as the amount comes back to the RBA, due to which circulation of cash will be decreased. And if the availability of the cash is less in the operating money market, then in that case securities are purchased by the RBA so that the circulation of the money will be increased. So that's how the market works, and the RBA do the same to maintain the circulation of money in the market and make sure that the country works well and effectively. Reserve Bank of Australia. My name is Gurbaz and my student ID 20173540. Slide number 13. Impact on interest rates when cash rate changes. Cash rate is considered to be a figure which is set by the Reserve Bank of Australia, as the cash rate represents the number of interest banks and leaders need to pay on the cash they borrow. One statement comes from RBA that the cash rate is known as the overnight money market interest rate. It is so because of the activities of giving and taking cash between the banks. This process is done overnight. Except January, the Reserve Bank of Australia announces each month about the cash rate each, and RBA announce whether the cash rate for the month will be the same or change. The announcement is important for the banks and leaders as it has necessary ramifications on the bank and money leaders and every citizen of Australia. As if the cash rate is reduced, then the banks have to pay less interest on the money they borrow from RBA, and also the interest rate will reduce on loans. It is so because when the cash rate is decreased, the bank have to pay less on the money they take from the other banks, so they change less interest on the money which is provided to the citizens as a loan. The main reason behind increasing and decreasing the cash rate is maintaining the inflation rate. If the inflation rate is high, the RBA raises the cash rate to maintain the purchasing power of the citizens. And the employment rate, like if the percentage of unemployment is high, then RBA may reduce the cash rate of. And economy growth, like if the economy growth of the country slows down, then RBA might think to reduce cash rate of the country. In order to manage all these types of decisions, RBA needs to take.